Hi, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Today we're going to look at the System Center Server Management Suite Enterprise and how it can be used to manage an application across the IT lifecycle. I'm Rob Willis. I'm a Management Technology Specialist in the South Central District. I'm also joined today by Nick Smith, who is a Virtualization Technology Specialist. We're going to show you a demonstration of a real live application, and we're going to break something within an application so that we're decreasing the availability, and show you how the tools within System Center can be used to dynamically provision content, provision new capacity to that application to make sure that we stay responsive to our users and our customers.
Thanks, Rob. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm actually going to paint for you a scenario that you're probably familiar with. Let's say it's open enrollment time at your company. And generally at the beginning of open enrollment, you've got a handful of users that kind of start to trickle in and go to the benefits site. But really toward the end of that cycle is when your website really gets hit hard, your portal gets stressed. What we want to do is we want to show you that through the use of the System Center family of products, you'll be able to dynamically react to that situation with a resilient infrastructure that minimizes the effect of the users. So basically, they'll never know anything's going on inside your environment. Because as they go toward the end of that month and they start to really hit the portal, generally what happens is your resources get taxed, which means that degradation happens, performance goes down, user anxiety goes up, the application owner's anxiety goes up, and then IT phones start ringing. What we'd like to be able to do today is show you that if you will implement the System Center family of products, we can have System Center Operations Manager, Virtual Machine Manager, and Configuration Manager make your IT infrastructure dynamic so that it can build out additional server resources, so that you're not using capital assets every time you need to do this, either physically or your SAN, for instance, on your virtual infrastructure. And as those users start to fade away toward the end of that month, or you finish that period of open enrollment, we can actually dynamically turn off those resources, so that during that process, you're not spending more money and more time and more resources for that one window of a month every year that you need to do that. So what Rob's going to do is he's going to come join me, and he's actually going to show you a demonstration where System Center is going to play a part in dynamically provisioning an application and make sure that the health of an application is maintained. Rob?
Thanks, Nick. So this is what we consider to be the server lifecycle. We look at hardware provisioning, virtualization provisioning, looking at software deployment, patching, configuration management, health monitoring of performance and health availability, and then backup and recovery. And this is the capability that the System Center suite of tools allows you to deliver. Configuration Manager for hardware provisioning, bare metal provisioning, Virtual Machine Manager for provisioning of virtual workloads, more Configuration Manager around software deployment, patch management, and then Operations Manager for performance and health monitoring, and finally Data Protection Manager for backup and disaster recovery. We're going to look at an application that uses 3 of these 4 tools, starting from Operations Manager, understanding the operational health of that distributed application, and then based on some issues that we detect in health, calling dynamically into Configuration Manager and Virtual Machine Manager to automatically respond to and resolve those conditions. So this is our demonstration environment. This is Operations Manager showing a distributed application, and we're using the sample.NET application pet shop. You'll see here I have a number of databases and websites running. We're going to focus on the web farm. So this web farm consists currently of 2 web servers. We also have the Virtual Machine Manager console running here, and you'll see currently we have a server called WS1 and one called WS3. You'll also see that we have the Configuration Manager server running, looking at WS1 and WS2. What I'm going to do to simulate a problem in this environment is I'm actually going to stop one of the websites. So I'm going to stop half of the capacity in this web farm. Now what this would normally do in a real environment would mean you either have half the capability to take half the load of users or half the performance for those users. So this is actually impacting your application you're delivering to your customers. So you'll see, based on stopping that one website, that our application has gone into an unhealthy state. We've got a web server that's showing a health condition. That's reflected in the overall web farm as well as reflected on the application. Now what has happened, our distributed application being monitored by Operations Manager has automatically responded to that. We have started provisioning a new virtual machine. So in Virtual Machine Manager here, you'll see we now have a WS2 server that's in the process of being created. We also have added an existing server, the WS3 server, to our collection in Configuration Manager, which means that that server is now going to be provisioned with the Pet Shop application. And once those two additional web servers have been provisioned, those will automatically get added back to our Pet Shop application, and the overall health state of our web farm will go back into a healthy condition. So now the Configuration Manager has completed provisioning the existing server with the Pet Shop website, as well as the Virtual Machine Manager created the new server. You'll see that our overall health of our Pet Shop web farm has gone back to a healthy state, while we still have one server in an unhealthy condition. If I refresh this, you will also see that I now have a third website appear within that web farm. That's what's caused it to go back into an overall healthy condition. So the other area where we can see this is in our service level reporting capability. If I go and run the service level dashboard for this distributed application for the past couple of days, you'll see that we have showed a measured availability of 99% of this application. And while that's still within our service level agreement, we can tell that exactly which areas within this application it is that's caused that problem. So we've responded to the issue, keeping ourselves within the availability limits without actually having to go back and resolve the original condition.
So what we've shown today is that the Server Management Suite Enterprise can really help with infrastructure optimization and move customers to that dynamic IT, to that dynamic category.
Absolutely. We've been talking about Dynamic Systems Initiative and Dynamic IT and infrastructure optimization for a number of years. And while we've had really good capabilities in each one of these individual products, what we're really showing here is that the suite, the integration of those components through the Server Management Suite itself can really start to help deliver on that dynamic IT vision.
So I would reach out to partners in your Microsoft account teams and have them come out and deliver this message to you and get this set up in your environment. You'll really see a return on investment. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.